Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a video game review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at the rhythm game VOEZ, VOEZ. I apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly, for the Nintendo Switch. Also available on Android and ISO devices, but for this review, we're going to be taking a look at the Switch version. Now, I remember hearing about this game come out during the launch of the Nintendo Switch as one of the first rhythm games, as far as I'm aware of, that came out for the Nintendo Switch. What was interesting at the time was that this was a game that can only be played basically in portable mode. That if you try to play this in dock mode, you would not be able to play. It was only touchscreen only, though. And some people were okay with that, but there were some that were not exactly pleased with that. So now here we are. The game has finally not only gotten a physical release, but now it supports, well, the Pro controller now, or traditional controller, or Joy-Cons if you have that as well. And after playing the game for a bit, I will say that if you're into those kind of rhythm games, this might be a game for you. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons on this. We'll start off first with the pro, and the first one will be the music. And honestly, I think the music sounds nice. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge J-pop kind of a person. I'm not really into it, not hugely into it. I know there are some that like that stuff. I'm just not that kind of person. That said, some of the music sounds good. There are some techno type music in there, but some of them like smooth and it's calming as well. So some of the choices they have for music are nice. So overall, the music sounds nice and it sounds good. The next thing I want to talk about is the gameplay, and I will say it is fun. Basically, it is a rhythm style gameplay where you basically touch the screen or use the controller if you're using that at the right time. So basically, you gotta hit the controller at the right moment when the object lines up with, like a certain line and all that stuff. So it's a fun rhythm game, to be exactly. The gameplay is fun. It's nothing special or nothing that has been done in other rhythms games before, probably, but it is still an enjoyable rhythm game, to be exact. Although I'm not saying all rhythm games follow the same pattern and all, but this one feels like it doesn't do anything new that other rhythm games that are similar to what this game does is. It doesn't do anything different, but that doesn't mean it's not fun nevertheless. And last but not least, though, is the controller support. So basically, for those who may have been turned off by the game when it originally came out, or because you weren't maybe big on the idea of using the touchscreen on the Nintendo Switch, the game finally does support control schemes. And there's no, you don't have to change anything in the option menu or anything. You could play the game with your controller, you could play with the Joy-Cons, or simply use the touchscreen. So it fully supports the controller, and I will say, playing it with the controller, I find it to be a bit more enjoyable than, say, using the touchscreen, though. Not that the touchscreen doesn't work. I just think using a control scheme is better, at least in my opinion, though. Alright, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, which will be the cons. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video review of VOEZ, V-O-E-Z, if I'm saying the name correctly, for the Nintendo Switch. And as I mentioned earlier, it's also available on Android and ISO devices. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't I give you the cons? And as far as the cons go, we'll start off with the first one. Now, I mentioned in the pro part, I mean, to be exact, I talked about how the game does support regular control schemes, and I still think that's a good thing. That said, there are those who are going to approach it and feel like using a controller makes the game a little bit easier, and I could see it that way because a lot of the commands, You don't need to like put like hit like the A button when the thing lines out like into like one section. You just have to push one button every time something happens. Or I mean, like, how do I explain this? Okay, when the objects come down on the screen, you basically have to hit the button at the right time. Unlike, say, certain rhythm games where, like, if a line comes down, like, say, under, like, say, a red that says A, you hit A, or, like, if there's a blue that says B, you hit B. You don't need to do something like that. You can just simply just hit any button, and that's it. So, it might make the game a bit easy for some people, though. The next thing I do want to talk about is the visuals, and this is one of those games where, I mean, this game isn't really a visual powerhouse in any way. I mean, it looks nice, but if you're looking for anything that really shows off the capability of what the Nintendo Switch is for, this isn't it. It's not saying the art style is terrible or anything like that. It looks nice. I like some of the anime art styles to it, and the cutscene looks nice as well with that anime look, but don't expect this to be a visual powerhouse, to be exact. And last but certainly not least, this game's going to come down to your preference and taste, though. If you're not a big person of rhythm games or, excuse me, or like J-pop music or anything like that, then I would advise probably skipping this, because this is more of a niche game that's going to appeal to a certain audience. Not that I'm saying there aren't people who like rhythm games or anything like that. I'm sure there is. Certainly, I'm sure there is a good amount of people who enjoy those kind of games. It's just that it's not going to be for everyone. It's more of a niche game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you're not down with rhythms or J-pop music, then this probably is not going to be for you. Overall, I will say that VOEZ certainly is a fun rhythm game, to be exact. It's nothing special or nothing spectacular, and it may not blow everybody away, but if you're into those rhythm style type of games, though, then it's worth taking a look at, especially if you maybe wanted to get it for the Nintendo Switch, but at the time you didn't want to get it because it didn't have like controller support or anything like that. But now, if you've been waiting for that moment, though, you can pick it up now, and it will support regular control schemes, though. It might make the game easy for some, but there are those who've been waiting for that kind of control scheme to happen. So, overall, it's a fun rhythm game. Nothing special, nothing spectacular, but it's fun. That's all I have to say. It's fun. Okay, this concludes this video review of VOEZ, if I'm saying the name correctly, for the Nintendo Switch. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about VOEZ as well? Do you enjoy the music in the game, though? Is the gameplay fun? Are you glad they finally added control support for it? Or do you think the game should have just been touchscreen only, though? Do you agree with what I said in this review? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And I hope you hit that like button. That'll be great if you can. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos that I make. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. And feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!